Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame and Cinnamon Sugar, and we are back for another recap review for The Shy. So, in this episode, they started showing various moments in certain people's lives on this show as it was unfolding. We saw Keisha studying while trying to take care of Ronnie at the same time, which that's a single parent type of a situation where you're trying to juggle everything in life on top of taking adequate care of your child, which can be very hard. She's trying to study and do all this stuff at the same time. Kevin is trying to get through to Lene, who is definitely still in her feelings because her brother was arrested. And, she may never see him again. So it's a very touch and go situation with her. Um, One of the other people that we saw, when I saw her, I was like, who is this? Y'all, was I the only one who didn't know that was Gemma at first until they got to a whole nother scene? Yeah, I was like, who is this heifer? All I saw was knotless braids. I really feel like it's because we typically see Gemma scowling or having this very serious look on her face all the time. Because I was sure, like, who is this? Like, I mean, I don't know if it was. I know she be having. I think she has on makeup sometimes, but I'm just saying it should not be that drastic of a change for me to not even know. Or like, if nothing else, I should have been like, "Dang, is that Gemma?" And she just switched her hair up. I didn't think that at all until way later. So anyway, moving right along. Oh yeah, we end up seeing Candy Burris' character come back again because y'all know she was gonna come back because Doodah came back. So it's like, child, here come this heifer. It's about to be a whole scenario. It's a lot. So I get there. So the episode like really actually started off with Gemma coming out of the house. Her daddy waiting on her so that he can take her to school. And so she is having an attitude. And she was like, can you just drive or whatever? And he was like, I am not your Uber or whatever he said, something to that effect. And then he gonna say to her, just as cavalier, just as casual as if it's nothing, if you're gonna smoke reefer, go outside. I was like, the fact that you know this heifer smoking, which I thought was stupid because when you see the situation unfolding before it got to the real, start of the episode, this heifer started smoking in her bedroom and then proceeded to take a toilet paper roll that had tissue stuffed in it and exhaled, into that. I was like, what that's supposed to do? We saw the vapors and things coming out of that den. We saw the smoke. I don't know. And I don't know why she thought they were supposed to do something. But he smelled it throughout the house. And I'm like, why didn't she even have a window crack? When she was with Kevin when they were smoking in inside of her bedroom and blowing it outside. And I mean, y'all know this is Chicago and it is around Christmas time. You know what I'm saying? Christmas time, it's still winter. Even if Christmas has passed, because we saw an episode where they were talking about Christmas. It's still winter time. So it's really cold. And they already known for how cold it can be and very windy it can be anyway. So she looking like, I ain't going outside. It's too cold for that. Child, we see Darnell and Jada laid up, meaning laid up. And after they done, Jada was like, ooh, how about we get up and get dressed and you take me out to brunch? And he was like, how about I get up and go make you an egg, bacon, and cheese sandwich or something like that. And so she was like, yeah, no, that's what we're not finna do. Like, I'm gonna need for you to treat me like the queen that I am and all this other stuff. And so he gonna try to read her talking about, you need to stop paying attention to all them memes floating around here. You ain't young like that no more. You over here paying attention to all that stuff these young folks talking about. She was like, who you calling old? And he was like, both of us. I'm just like, sir, Jada ain't old like that. And she had him at a young age. Y'all son. He ain't that old. Like, what is we talking? I don't be understanding. Anyway, she told him, look, I think we need to stop having sex until you take me out on a proper date. And so she was like, if you can't do that, I'm gonna need for you to understand. Like, I'm gonna need for you to understand that I quit the person who was doing all of these things that I'm requesting of you on his own. That's why I just be like, girl, you set it off. You done did all of this and left somebody, allowed this person to leave you, disrupted a happy home where this man lived for you He lived for you. This man thought of you first and would rearrange his whole life to fit around you, even when you became sick. This man set it all for you. This man wanted to marry you with no question. Ain't no, oh, let me go out here and run the streets. I'm young. Let me go out here and do all of this. He showed you that he was serious about you. And all because Darnell was sending Johnson pics and all of this other foolishness, and y'all have history because y'all have a child, you were like, oh, I don't think I can do this. But y'all already know Lena Waithe and all the other people over there, they're going to make it so that they're going to be together, and he going to come together and do what he need to do so that, you know, her doing all of that won't be in vain. I'm just like, somebody please, why y'all got to do this? Why is that what y'all have to do? Anyway, Keisha is at the house. She cannot concentrate. She has a paper to write. I think it's called what is it? The psychology? The something of a long distance runner or something like that. I don't forgot. I don't remember. Anyway, that was like the title of her paper. She could not write at all because little Ronnie is upset, and you know, he's a child. It is what it is. So she can't do nothing. She ends up texting Emmett, asking if it's okay if he watches him for a while. And he was like, yeah, that's cool. Ain't nobody over here but me and little EJ as it is. So before she even gathers herself and their items to go over there, she lets out this yell of, oh my gosh, I'm tired of my spirit. Like, if I had to equate anything, a sound to I'm tired of my spirit, that's what it was. So we then end up seeing Trig and Jacob's mama being brought over and introduced to where she will be staying, which is the Trinity house. And that is somewhat of, I guess you say, of an extension of Rock, which is the place I keep telling y'all about. I never can think of the name of it, but she said Rock so many times, I ain't got no choice but to know what the name of it is now. So anyway, it's a place where women who need to start over, get clean, and all these other things can come. You can be in domestic violence situations and getting away. And it's kind of low key to the point where not many people know about it. But she has her own little space in there, room to do what she needs to do until she get on her feet. She over here talking about she gonna do right. And of course, Trig is not really, you know, being receptive because he has heard this song and dance before. And so she was like, I know you don't believe me, and I don't blame you because I've broken my promises to you so many times. But, you know, I feel like on the inside, he really is hoping that this is the one time and the last time. Meaning that he has done it, she's done this song and dance, and this is going to be her last time going down that road. It's not going to be a repeat of the usual. So she's looking around the room, and I really feel like this is going to be a good start for her, and hopefully she won't relapse. So then we see Gemma in her classroom looking around, and I neglected to mention that within that conversation that she had with her daddy when he was taking her to school, she basically is making it seem like she ain't here for school. She don't care about the SAT and all that stuff used to be important back in the day. It ain't important no more and all of that, because he's always asking about her educational situations and all of that. And so she's being very standoffish, don't want to discuss nothing with him. And then we just had this conversation of, I don't want us to grow apart. I don't want to just be your daddy either. I want us to basically be at a point in our lives where it's like almost like friends, which I ain't really here. Like, I feel like there are very special circumstances where you can be like full on like best friends and all that with your mama. I'm never finna sit up here. I don't care what condition my mama was in or would be in. I have never had a desire to go partying, smoking, and drinking and all this other foolishness with my mama or my daddy. I ain't here for it. I ain't trying to do none of that. Go on double dates with them. All of this crap. I don't understand. But I mean, I understand what the daddy was talking about. Cool. But anyway, she is at a place where she's like, I don't know about all of this stuff to my college and whatnot. I don't know if that's for me. This is something you wanted. And he looking at her like, we've been working for this and towards this since she was like 5 years old. And at this point, now he looking like, wait a minute now. What you talking about? So she in the classroom. She and Maisha are in the same class. Maisha is being the model student and raising her hand in the middle of about to, I guess, answer a question if she's called upon. While Gemma looking all around the room like, why am I here? Like, I ain't here for this. This heifer gathered her things and left. I was like, now, ma'am, you can do that. See, the schools that I went to, they didn't play no getting up and going nowhere. If you did not get up and go to the desk and ask permission to leave, you couldn't just leave about the classroom, because if you did, you were getting expelled or you were getting suspended or something like that. Like, you had to be dying in order for you to just be able to get up and walk out the room. So stuff like that be blowing my mind. Anyway, I digress. So Maisha, had her hand raised and she saw her walking. She was kind of looking at her like, what in the world she got going on? So anyway, back at Trinity House, the woman who is playing like she is Trigg's girlfriend, fiance, or whatever she's supposed to be, that came by because she's heard of the place. Because, she always want to keep tabs on him, try to see where he at. So that, any opportunity that might present itself, let me roll up so we can make this into, a mockery of a relationship and, further your career at the same time. But anyway, so she's very like, wait a minute. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that y'all had all this. Why don't y'all have press surrounding this place like y'all do Rock? And they were like, yeah, I mean, it is way more low key, but that's kind of the way we want it to be. And she's convincing them that that's not the way it needs to be. And even old girl, I don't know why I can't think of her name all of a sudden. The heifer that's screwing Doodah like a dummy. Is it Tracy? I don't remember the heifer's name. She over here telling us, well, I mean, I guess it wouldn't hurt for y'all to take a picture outside to kind of get the word out. And so Doodah is seconding that motion. He done walked in the door. He want to have a word with her. And of course, there's always some foolishness attached. Always some foolishness attached. It's like, girl, at this point, whenever you see him roll up, just assume that he has some kind of agenda. He has something in mind that he finna do that's going to involve you selling your soul yet again, or selling pieces of you in order to get and keep what you already have. All right, so he over here talking about, oh, I got a picnic. He making it seem like he done brought a picnic to her. And so it done kind of got to the point where she really be knowing, like, all right, so what's up? What's really going on here? So he went on ahead and wiped the fake smile off of his face, like he's so happy to see her like that. Like, boy. And was like, well, Rosalind, the wife, she wants to be able to have basically a say in this and be like the vice president or the lower level person that deals with the political part and the managerial, and I guess anything that ain't got nothing to do with directly working with the community, the people. She wants to have the behind the scenes and all that. She want to handle all that. And so she was like, I don't want her to have no parts of this. Like, what is we doing? And he basically was like, she was like, oh, well, if I don't do it, then what? He was like, then you're fired. And I'm just like, girl, is it worth it? Like, I'm going to need for you to do like some of the other heifers do when they get with somebody who has money and you can see the handwriting on the wall. Tuck you some money away so that you can do what you need to do free of them, since you apparently can't do it on your own, or you're not willing to do it on your own. Because every time you look up, somebody else has their hands on what you got going on in some kind of way. It's going to benefit them. So anyway, even though she wants nothing to do with the wife, ain't nothing she gonna be able to do. So she and her feelings, and I'm like, but you live for Doodah though, girl, bye. So anyway, Maisha done rolled up on Gemma and was like, girl, did you finish your test? And so she was like, I mean, no, not really. Maisha trying to explain to her basically what my situation would have been, which is, girl, you ain't finished your tests, you was going to be beat down. I mean, you can't be sitting there. Education was very important in my household. Your grades better be what they need to be. Don't be thinking you finna come in this house and your grades are trash. If you ain't in college, then you better be working. One of the two need to be happening. Like, they did not play their foolishness. So, luckily for them, my sister and I wanted to go to college. So that was no problem for us. Anyway, it's just other stuff going on now with my brother. I'll go into that a later date and time. But anyway, so she done checked on the heifer, trying to figure out what she got going on. And she was like, I don't know if this is meant for me. And she looking at her like, girl, even if this wasn't a situation that I wanted for myself, my mama gave birth to me. My mama gave me life. So the least I could do is go to college. I could be one less mouth she has to feed, because you know her mama got a house full of kids and all this other stuff. So Gemma eventually asked her, like, what is your actual passion, what you want to do? And she said something about rapping. Y'all know she's really passionate about that. She is great at it. And so she was like, okay then, maybe I could, have some kind of role to play in that later on. She'll talk about that. So anyway, Lene finally came out of her room, and y'all already know that Kevin was on top of that. As soon as she came out the door, he was meeting and greeting her at the door. And so you can see the concern on his face, and he is sorry that the brother didn't show up. And so she was just like, I mean, I understand what you're saying to me about your sister being out of your life for a certain amount of time, but you have your sister back. My brother could be going away for life. So it's like, child, it is what it is. Meanwhile, while they're in the middle of talking / arguing, Dre calls her downstairs and was like, you have a visitor. Get down the steps, and it's somebody that's from like social services. Now, this is the part of the show that I did not agree with. So they had somebody to come to the house because they heard about the situation. They were like, your brother was supposed to be the legal guardian of you, and since he is no longer able to do that, then we are here to do what we need to do, our part. So when it come back, when I'm going in order in the way it's being shown on the thing, we're going to come back to that part because I'm going to try not to say too much, because I'm going to go into social work mode a little bit, but I'm trying not to go there. Anyway, so Victor and Shad are doing this door-to-door grassroots type of situation where they are trying to get the word out about how he is trying to become a part of the councilman situation. He wanted to become councilman. And so he wants to know, what is it that the people even want to see happen? At first, he's getting doors slammed in his face left and right. And then he started rolling up on people who, they were like, oh, I want to see art murals. Like, what do you care about? And some dude was talking about like the art side of it. Some people was talking about parking. Woo, child, that is very big in certain areas, the parking. This woman was talking about how she went to the DMV to get certain things done, and then they gonna try to find her and all this other stuff. It was just a lot of different things. One of these women, she is a Spanish-speaking person, and she spoke in Spanish the entire time, and she was basically like, look, I live for the fact that y'all exist, because maybe it is a good thing that the police aren't around, because I have been able to sell my elotes without having a permit. And so even though they ain't understand what the stuff was talking about, gave her some information and she read what it was about. Everybody seemed to be here for it and on board that they have seen and got to actually talk to them. So it is what it is. So now Dre and her wife are talking about the situation. And they want to know what she wants to do and if she has any other relatives that can take her. And she was like, no, my brother's the only one here. When the woman was there, she was like, both of your parents are deceased, right? So, as far as anybody else that's blood related, if there's somebody else, she gonna have to speak up and say something about them, because they're gonna have to go through this whole process. Like, who gonna be able to take you in? And so Dre and them tried to even talk to the caseworker or whatever her, title was, to be like, I mean, what's wrong with her staying here? We can provide a safe environment. She's been safe here. She has her own room, which is, when I tell y'all, they check all the boxes when it comes to what it needs to be when it comes to a situation like that. So I already was like, I know that's right. I was here for all of it. That's why I be so here for Dre, especially coming from the side that she coming from, because counselors are needed. Social workers are too, even though people try to hate on social workers. I digress, but I'm getting there. So anyway, it's cold outside, like I already told y'all before. It's so cold that Shad is like, all right, man, you need to turn this truck on so we can get the heat going and I can smoke. He was like, you ain't finna smoke. We ain't finna go continue knocking on these doors and then smell like weed. He was like, man, you got me out here doing all this work, and you mean I can't smoke? You ain't even paying me. What you mean? What am I even out here doing this for? And he was like, I hope you're doing it for the same reason I'm doing it. So anyway, I'm just like, sir, do what you're supposed to do. And it is what it is. So look, I'm here for it. And, he be having his moments, but I'm here for Shad. He be having his moments, but I sure will be side-eyeing him sometimes. So anyway, Keisha was finally able to finish her paper. And he was very he did very well with his child and with hers and all of that. And so like even before she started on her papers, she watched how he treated her son. Now I ain't gonna sit up here and lie to y'all. I already told y'all I did not want them to be together. I liked her relationship that she had with Christian. Yet again, I don't understand why they do this. I don't understand why they do this. These people be already with dope people, and y'all be like, oh no, let's put them with these red flags. Like, why? Anyway, she was over here living for the fact that that he was doing so well with Ronnie and all this other stuff. And so, they having their moments and whatever. So Dre and her wife are talking. I don't know why I can't. Nina. I'm like, dang, what the mama name? Dre and Nina are talking. And so, like, they're having a heart-to-heart one-on-one trying to figure out what they're going to do while Kevin and Lene are upstairs and she's trying to figure out, like, I don't know, I might be able to figure out a situation. And so he's trying to figure out, like, okay, if they can't take you, then how you going to, who you going to figure out that you're going to be able to stay with. And so I'm like, girl, you ain't got nobody else to stay with. It got to stop. So anyway, Nina and Dre are talking, and Nina is basically like, if we don't make it, then where would they leave her? And so Dre, like, she halfway got the sentence out and stopped herself. And Dre was like, what you talking about? What you mean? I'm like, no, y'all gonna start fighting. But anyway, she was like, look, we need to fight for her. We actually have been providing this amazing environment for her. She's safe. She ain't got no issues. Like, this is the best plan for her. This is where she needs to be. She and Kevin are gonna be 18 years old within the next couple of years. We just need to get them to that point and they'll be good. Keisha already out the house. Like, come on now, we can do this. So since they kind of are at an impasse, she was like, okay, well, let's go see what Lene got to say. So she's like, all right. Now, keep in mind, while this is going on, they literally just decided, okay, let's get out the house. They meaning Kevin. He was like, yeah, you want to get out this house? She was like, I mean, I guess. So he was like, I got an idea. Let's go somewhere. They left out. They said nothing to nobody. So Dre immediately, after they realized that they was gone, she ended up texting him saying, where are y'all? He said, we on the way to the Rock to help, like, pass out some food or whatever. And so she was like, okay, be back at a respectable hour and all this other stuff and all of that. So it is what it is. So they ended up going. They really did go to the Rock. And I was confused because I was like, oh, y'all lied, but they didn't. There was an event going on. It was a charity event, I guess you could say. And they had like people who were rapping and all this other stuff. And I feel like I'm supposed to know who this young rapper is. This is young girl. Her eyelashes then gave it away. I don't know if she, I don't even want to say that man's name because he is trash beyond trash. He is like probably on the same level, if not worse, than Future. I can't think of that man's name, but them eyelashes reminded me of the girlfriend, the on again, off again girlfriend, baby mama, whatever she is. Anyway, some heifer was rapping. And then, as we already discussed earlier, Gemma has seen the potential. She knows how awesome Maisha is. She done secretly signed her up to be a performer. And so she was like, girl, what are you doing? She was like, look, didn't nobody say that okay, do what you do. Like, you over here trying to complain about the fact that it's a charity event. Girl, who booking you? Who booking you? Who gonna hear about you if you don't put yourself out there? So she got the heifer. She convinced the heifer to go over there and start rapping. And so she rapped. Everybody lived for her, of course. And when she was done, Gemma critiqued her and basically was like, you did awesome, but you need to work on your diction. And she was like, what? I was shocked that Maisha didn't know what diction meant, but okay. So she told her she needed to work on her diction. And then when she said what she said, she explained to her what diction mean and all of that, which is true. Like, it is true. Because a lot of people, I don't be know what most of these people be talking about. I be having to Google lyrics. I be like, what? Especially with these mumble rappers. That's why I don't even be trying. Like, I be like, nah, I ain't even finna do it. So anyway, they having fun. They're doing what they're doing. And it gets to a point where Gemma is like, well, maybe I need to be your manager. And so she was like, oh, so you're going to be the earn to my paper boy. Y'all know the Atlanta, TV show reference. So I was like, oh, okay, y'all done went off. So tell me why Keisha's still over there and she's talking to Emmett, and they're having a moment, and like she gets along well with his kids too. So as of today, this particular day, only EJ is there. So it's EJ, Ronnie, her, and Emmett. And so wanted to know what he wanted to do, and he wants to have a fort. They over here creating a fort. So, child, back at the function, this heifer is in the office trying to get some stuff squared away. Rosalind walks in. Rosalind walk in and sees her first, and so she kind of roll her eyes at her because she been over doing what she doing. Then she turn around to see who came in the door. Because I'm like, first of all, like I'm the person now. I'm looking like, first of all, heifer, who told you to walk in here and not close the door behind you? Like all that loud music and stuff going on outside. What if I was working on something? You just leave the door open. I don't even understand what she left the door open for. Anyway, so once she realized what the situation was and she saw it was her, she came to her with like a folder or something and said, this is a rundown of this is the volunteer list or whatever. I need somebody that's gonna do this, and this. Like she basically let her know I'm the boss. And, you know, it is what it is without having to tell her I'm the boss. And so Rosalind was like, look, this whole situation will work if you let it. So she was like, look, you know, I don't like you. It is what it is. If you don't do what need to be done and you ruin this program, I'll kill you myself. I'm like, girl, calm down. Why did Rosalind read this heifer? It was like, don't come for me. You only created this because it was you feeling guilty. And so she was looking at her like, what you talking about? I was like, no, when I tell you invisible pearls were clutched. She was like, you only created this because you felt guilty because you sent Ronnie after the person who killed your son, but it ended up being the wrong child. And it was just so many other unfortunate things that happened after that. Oh, do you know that heifer shut all the way up? I was like, no, no. So anyway, shut her up. And I'm like, girl, whoo, child. So they're having an event. They're having a moment where everybody who wants to see what Victor Trigg has to offer and, you know, talk about. They've invited them. And so they all talking and he is talking a good game. And then he's leaving the floor open for questions. This woman gets up. And so as soon as I saw her, I was like, is this a trans woman or not? I think this is a trans woman. So anyway, she got up and she was like, so are you trying to pass off the notion and idea that you were the one who created this situation when we all know that it was a trans woman who did it? And so he was like, he was kind of shook by the question, but then he, you know, after he got over the initial shock of the question, he was like, well, actually, my girlfriend or whatever he referred to this heifer as, he said that she did announce what she said correctly, which is that I co-founded this. I was a part of it. Unfortunately, Amani left and went back home, but everything is still thriving. We doing what we're supposed to do, whatever. I will forever give her flowers for doing what she did, because had it not been for her, a lot of this stuff wouldn't have happened. And we already know that a lot of the things that even get done in neighborhoods like this is because of Black women. Like he said it, Wolf. I was like, oh, she was like, oh, okay, then excuse me. So anyway, we then see Gemma at the function and they in line to eat. So she was like, y'all smell that? I was like, tell me it ain't no gas leak. Child, I was all the way off. So then the next line was, girl, what you talking about? No, I don't smell nothing. Somebody was like, it's just Smokies. And then when Papa said they only had, I think he said, what is it that I don't like? Liver and something else. I can't stand liver. I used to have to check out of school every single time they cooked liver because I would get sick to my stomach. I don't know what it is, the smell of it cooking. I could not. I can't. So anyway, I think the smell of the liver had gotten to her. But the thing is, this heifer done ran over to the trash can. Maisha politely walked over to her and was like, oh no. oh. She gave a reaction like, we know what this is. So, yeah. So back to the trans woman and Trigg. Victor, whatever. His name, Victor. So they talking and they having a good conversation. And then this is when he finds out that she is the one who brought up his name as someone who should run for city council. And so he was confused because he was like, not many people know about me like that for you to, for me to get nominated. She was like, oh, it's because of me. I'm the one who did that. I threw your name out there like that. And so he was like, oh, okay. You could tell he living for her. So I was like, okay, so officially this heifer got to be trans. The way he's going off for her, the way he's going up for her. Like, I really feel like this is a trans woman. So anyway, we then see the girlfriend and Shad in the background. The girlfriend come out of nowhere. Oh, I've been looking for you all over. We have, some other people we got to talk to, whatever. And so he was like, all right, give me a minute. So then he was, talking to her. He was like, it was really nice talking to you, whatever. Then they make a point to show Shad off in distance. And I'm like, Shad peep game. So anyway, because I was like, wait a minute, sir, you done went with. So then we see everybody over at Emmett's house. And everybody is asleep except Emmett. Emmett then woke up and he done covered her up because his son and her son, I think both of them are in the little, I guess you could say, fort that they created. And he gonna cover her up with some cover and kissed her on the cheek. Cool, do what you do. And I'm like, child, what we not finna do with this? So anyway, Maisha is in the bathroom with Gemma and they waiting on the pregnancy test. And I'm like, why is we wasting a pregnancy test? But her daddy got money, so whatever. So she over here like, well, what am I going to do? I can't be pregnant. And she was like, actually, you can. You can be. There's a 50-50 chance you are pregnant, heifer. Like, she was reading her, but I mean, it was true. So anyway, the timer went off. She asked her, did she want to hold her hand? She held her hand and she picked up the test. And of course, she's pregnant. And I'm like, girl, you're dumb. Because like, even before that happened, she was like, what am I going to do? Like, how do you think Jacob would take it if I were to tell him that I am pregnant, if I am pregnant? She was like, oh, he a stand-up dude. He would take care of his responsibilities. I know he wouldn't have no problem. I'm like, girl, you ain't asked the main question you should have been asking. What your daddy gonna say? How you gonna tell your daddy? Because your daddy might be the one you need to worry about, not Jacob. So anyway, before... I be wanting to say Trig so bad all the time, trying to put some respect on his name, his actual name. Victor, he is, kind of trying to make his rounds, and before he really get to leave or do whatever he finna do, Shad rolled up on him. He was like, what you think you doing? And rolled up. He was like, I see you. I know what you're doing. He see the chemistry. He see what's going on here. And he was like, man, I'm just having a conversation. Ain't nothing going on. He was like, man, what you got going on? What you doing? He was like, I ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? My numbers have skyrocketed with this fake situation that's going on over here. Like, nah, he trying to make it seem like I'm not doing this. And I'm just like, live in your truth. Like, what is going on here? Why don't nobody want to live in their truth? And I'm going to talk about that after I get off here as part of one of my, of a thought post I'm going to do before I go my behind to sleep. Because I need to go to sleep because I have a function to attend in the next few hours, child. I don't know what's wrong with me. I've been up like I ain't got nowhere to be. I done took off and everything. At this point, I could have stayed at work. But no, they would have tried me and I would have had to pull a 12. I digress. So anyway, they're about to leave, or at least the trans woman is about to leave. I think she goes by Fatima. Now, when I was on the fence as to whether or not she was trans, I was like, I don't know. But then he was talking to her and she introduced herself and he was like, oh, that's a beautiful name. Where'd you get that from? She said that she gave herself that name. I said, oh, okay, you are trans. So anyway, he was like, I would love to talk to you more off the record, go somewhere and talk to you, whatever. And I'm like, she picking up what he putting down. And part of me is like, she's interested, she's intrigued because he does seem genuine. But at the same time, it's like, if she thinking ahead, it's like, okay, are you going to be hiding me? Is this going to be like typical trans situations where you might sit up there and feel like so that your ego isn't bruised when somebody find out, especially if it's people who didn't know Imani's tea, considering you were with her, and then they find out hers, or they know what hers is, and they see you setting it off with her. Are you going to sit up there and then be inclined to beat her down? Like, I want to know how it's going to go. Like, I have so many different questions. I feel like that it could go so many different ways. I'm hoping that he ain't going to try that. But some people really be feeling like they need to go with what the crowd talking about and do that. And I'm like, girl, bye. So anyway, she here for it. And I guess they're going to link up at some later date and time. So Darnell set it off, right? A little bit earlier in the episode, he came home. Now, but first of all, he took heed to what she said. He went somewhere and he bought a nice little suit jacket and things. And he went shopping for her too, I think, and bought like little stuff for her. And like he said it all, came to the house and everything. He was like, look, I ain't need that much time. I ain't need that much time to know that, you know, I got the sunshine or whatever it was he said. And I was like, oh, look at you. Trying to act like you got some sense for once in your life. So she was like really over the moon when she found out that he had reservations. He had made reservations somewhere. So they're at the restaurant that he made reservations at. He over here asking for liquor that they don't even sell. I'm like, ooh, child, why can't you stop? So he gonna tell them to go in the back and get her the most expensive bottle of wine or whatever it is. And I'm like, what is it that he does, y'all? Like, I really be wanting to know, like, does he get a disability check? What is going on? Did I miss it? Like, what he do? I'm for real. Like, I'm sitting here like I'm waiting on y'all to answer and I'm gonna hear y'all. Like, I really need to know what he do? I'm sorry. Anyway, because I'm like, who finna pay for this? Like, they finna dine and dash? What is going on? So anyway, because we knew what Swade did. And that's a very lucrative job if you're doing what you're supposed to do. You ain't even got to take it to a sexual level to get the money that they be getting, because that is very much so high in demand. Oh, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. So anyway, she get her entire life. And I'm like, child, anyway. So next morning, Keisha and Emmett wake up because his phone starts vibrating, and it is his ex-wife, Tiffany, FaceTiming him. So he get up and walk over to the other side of the room. She trying to figure out where the son at. And she was like, okay, well, I need to FaceTime. I need, put him on FaceTime before you drop him off at daycare. So then Keisha was just like, okay, so why you didn't tell her that I was here? And so he was like, I ain't see a reason. And I'm just like, we're really gonna sit up here and like, okay, just play the game like you didn't know what it was. Tiffany immediately called her after that. I was like, wait. Called her. Her phone is going off. He peeps over, sees it's her. And I'm like, oh, so if you want to jump bad, you said all this to him, are you going to get your phone and pick it up? Are you? Oh, okay, that's what I thought. She politely declined that phone call. So, you know what I'm saying? Both of y'all feel guilty, so stop the cap. So I was just like, child, it is what it is. So it ended with Gemma telling Jacob that she had something that she had to tell him. So I guess we'll see next time what's going on. I already saw the preview. The preview doing a lot, and I'm just like, Lord have mercy. Y'all just, every episode, y'all got to set it off every episode? Oh, okay. But anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. I'll be right back with a false post. Y'all be safe out there. Give my video a thumbs up, please. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Let's talk about this down in the comment section. Okay, bye y'all.